Okay, this is going to be a demonstration on how to do the pencil exercises for the Adobe Illustrator. So first things first is you want to go into Google Classroom, click on Classes, click on your class Computer Graphics, and you want to go to Classwork, go to pencil exercises. So, we're going to spend about 3 class periods on this assignment. You probably won't get too much done today just because, you're watching the video now and it'll be kind of, a little bit slow with, learning how to use the pencil at first. But yeah, to get started though, we're going to be mainly doing 2 exercises. So you just click on the exercise and then you just want to just make sure to open in on the very top, click on more actions, open a new window, and then you want to click on the download button. So you want to download exercise 1 as well as download exercise 2. So same thing, open new window and download, and they should both pop up in your downloads folder. So once I click on my downloads folder, and again, double check if, or actually, you guys are my only classes here. But after you download it, you just double click on pencil exercise 1, and what's gonna pop up is you're gonna have 4 different exercises. It's gonna go off of the white page, which is fine, but you're gonna work on all 4 of these. So just to navigate around the program, you're gonna be mainly using this hand tool to move left and right, and then Command plus will zoom in. So Command plus is gonna zoom in, and then Command minus. I'm holding Command, pressing minus, I'll zoom out. So you want to zoom in enough to take a look at what it says on the prompts. And then from here, we're going to be primarily using the pencil here. So just make sure to click and hold the mouse button. Make sure it's on pencil, not any of these other ones like add anchor point or just make sure it's on pencil. And don't get it confused with this freeform one. So it's the one up here. It doesn't have the squiggle lines. This is the curvature tool, but we're using the pencil here. Also double check your layers too. On the layer where it says drawing layer, this is the layer that you're going to draw on. So if you look at, if I highlight my mouse, I can draw on that layer, but these ones aren't going to give me that option. This one layer is like the green lines that are being drawn. This is like the guide, so just make sure you're on the drawing layer. So these exercises are pretty easy. They start off easy and then they get a little bit more difficult as you go further along. But this one's pretty easy. All you're going to do is just click on these points here. One point, the next point. You just keep following these points to move from one to the other. And then once you finish like making the line, then I want you to you're gonna use this command. It's gonna be Command Shift A, and that'll deselect the line, so you can start a new one. I'm probably gonna make you guys a bunch of hotkeys to keep with you, so that way it'll be easier to refer to these hotkeys. So the Command Shift A is gonna be one thing. It's gonna allow you to deselect. And oh yeah, one other thing too. Just make sure take the fill off. So where it says fill, make sure it's crossed out. Otherwise, when you make lines, like for example, I'll make a line here. It's gonna make like these really random white shapes. It's okay for like this line, but it's gonna look weird when you go on to the other exercises. Just make sure this is crossed out. The fill is gonna just basically fill out spaces, but you want to like make sure it's using these black lines. All right, so and then you're gonna do the broken lines too. So I'm just gonna click the line here, click that point here. That's gonna make a straight line, and then it's gonna be Command Shift A again to deselect. So make a line, Command Shift A to deselect. Another way you can do it too if you don't want to use the hotkeys is you can click on here. You can click on the selection tool, click away. Go back to the pen tool. Go back to the selection tool, click away. But I feel like the Command Shift A is easier. Like one of the things that's nice about like the the one thing that's really nice about using the computers is like the efficiency of using the hotkeys. And when you get like more comfortable with using the hotkeys, then it'll be a lot quicker. So again, I'm holding Command, I'm holding Shift, and I'm pressing A. Now that you deselect it real quickly. So this practice is just mainly just making lines and using that deselect key or deselect hotkey that I'm going to show you. The second part here is we're just going to create curved lines. So this one is you're going to click on one point here, click on the other point, but instead you're going to click and hold the mouse button. So once you click and hold the mouse button and drag, this will make curves as you go along. So then, same thing like from here, I'm going to do Command Shift A, deselect, click one point, next point, click and drag, and Command Shift A. Also, another thing too is if you want to change the thickness of your lines, you can change it up here. But you can either do 1 or 3. I wouldn't go any higher than 3. But it's the same idea. You can click on one point, click on the next, drag, and Command Shift A. All right. So you want to do it for all these lines, this one, that one. Again, this is all just practice, so you just get more comfortable with the program. This next one is basically going to click on one point here, click on this point here. So you gotta look carefully at those points there, and you're just gonna continue with making the line though. Just try your best to make the lines as close as possible. This one's not gonna be perfect for some reason. It's just not perfect when I do it. I mean, it's pretty close, but you're just gonna keep going to the end pretty much. I'm just gonna stop here. And then this one here, so this is a little bit more challenging just because you have to figure out the in-between points, but look carefully at the graph though. That'll kind of help you out with it. So, maybe you might want to line it up like this and just click over there. But, if I try to skip it and make this here, obviously that's not gonna work. So if you ever make mistakes, this is something I forgot to mention at the beginning. You're gonna hold Command and Z as in 0, and now undo your mistakes. So, just gonna click and drag, hold, click here. And that's pretty much how you do that one. But you can do up to several mistakes. I think about 20 of them. So if I press Command Z, I'll just undo my mistakes. So this is a really good, easy way to undo your mistakes. So if I look at it, I can go pretty far with undoing everything I did. I think I can pretty much undo up to the point of where I was before. But yeah, that's holding Command Z will undo your commands. And then on the very last one, this one you're going to this one's a little bit differently. So you're going to click on the curve and click and drag and make a new curve. So just like you did before, the only difference now is oops, gotta take my fill out. The only difference now is if I try to click and drag and make a curve here, there's no way that this curve is gonna work. It looks really awkward and weird. So again, I'm gonna do Command Z to undo. And from this point here, you're going to have to click on the last point of the curve that you made. So you're gonna click on that. Basically, it gets rid of one of the curve anchor points, and then you can just click and drag to make that curve. So you're always gonna have to click on the last point, and then make your curve. Click on the last point, make your curve. So you're just gonna have to do that for all of them. For these lines here, these lines won't work. If you keep going. And just for the future though, this is gonna be kind of the general way of how we're going to trace with the pen tool. And all the other ones that you practiced before is kind of leading up to this point here where you're making the curve. Click on the last point, make a curve. Click on the last point and make a curve. All right, but pretty much though, Command Shift A, you're going to finish exercise 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then when you move on to, I'm just gonna close this, but yeah, just make sure you file save as, make sure it's saved in your folder. But when you move on to the exercise 2, so I just say ignore, should pop up. Same thing like before. You want to make sure you're on the drawing layer, and then do like the same thing. You're going to just trace these lines, and just practice tracing the shape. So this will give you like more of like something to like physically trace rather than just random lines. But this is gonna be like the primary tool we're gonna use to accurately draw on the computer. Just because like the paintbrush tool and those other tools that I showed you before, they can't help you to make those lines, but this is like the most accurate way of making lines on the computer. If you want to change the colors, you can double click on the fill. You can change the fill, take off the stroke. So, but yeah.